Hello YouTube and welcome back to a brand new Arm Wrestle Simulator video. And in today's video guys, we are going to be checking out the event that actually never released on Arm Wrestle Simulator. Now this event that I'm actually talking about is going to be I think it's called the Rome event that we were going to call it. But it's going to be that one, and essentially the event stuff that I'm going to be showing you is not exactly a full amount of stuff. However, it will just be the map like I showed you with the trading plaza. Now of course, before we go ahead and get started, remember to watch all the way through the video, because that is going to be the only way you guys are going to find out how to enter the giveaway for the pet that is on the screen right now. And of course, if you guys do enjoy this video and want to come back and check out more, remember to like the video, subscribe if you are new, and obviously turn on notifications for the channel so you guys are notified every single time I upload. And of course, comment down below the best part about the map that I'm showing you. Now, without further ado, let's get on into the video. And here we are in the actual game map itself. Now, before I go ahead and show you guys this map, let me just give you a small background on this. So stick with me and I'll tell you everything you need to know. So the first thing I can actually tell you guys is that this event right here was actually going to be called the Gladiators event. Now, in the future, there may be a possibility that we can do this. However, it won't be as detailed or as descriptive as what I'm about to give you guys as well. Also, there is a potential chance that this map also may never release on Arm Wrestle Simulator. So of course, you guys are getting an exclusive look at this right here, right now, just for you guys on my channel. But anyway, as I was saying, this event was actually going to be called the Gladiator event, which was going to be set around the time scale of 105 BC to 104 AD, and so much other time in between. There's going to be several different bosses. Now, these bosses were from the lions or astrocats, nobles, gladiators, emperors, merchants, warriors, knights, civilians, prisoners, swordsmen, loads and loads of other types of bosses. But those ones were the ones that we were planning on implementing. Now, of course, I know you guys are more interested in the map, so of course, let's go ahead and show you that now. And just as you can see, that is the map that we are going to be looking at today. Now, of course, this was only one of several maps that we're going to connect this whole idea together, because this idea was actually built to support what I would class as realms. So, of course, the first realm was going to be this place here, which was called the Capua Training School. Now, of course, basically, judging by the World 1 to, well, whatever it was at the time, this was going to be something that I would say is a pretty cool setup, especially with everything that I had planned. And of course, just for further clarification as well, this update was planned to release around the February mark of, well, last year. But of course, at the time, I actually ended up leaving Arm Wrestle Simulator to go over to Blade Ball and work there, which of course didn't end up lasting, so of course I came back to Arm Wrestle Simulator, and by the time I came back, this event actually didn't want to come out. Which of course is quite unfortunate. However, that is how the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid, but that is what I was told. And on top of that, of course, I was also told that this update wasn't actually planning to ever release, so of course we kind of got stuck with a world that was unusable. Either way, to start with, this was going to be an event that spread across several updates, so I'd say there was about 6 or 7 updates to actually come with this world. Now, on the first update, the actual map would come with what I would have classed as an honor system, which of course I've actually designed for similar inside of the Prisoners vs. Guard update, which is actually something based around what people would get. Now, obviously, it's a lot different in the newer event because it's a lot more refined. However, at the time of this actually being planned, especially for this update, it was actually designed so people could, well, trade with the NPCs, go inside of marketplaces, and get things for cheaper, especially if their honor was better than worse. Now, at the time, you would also be able to increase your honor by simply completing quests. You would also be able to increase your honor by defeating a set amount of bosses, which of course were all going to be laid out right here. So there was 5 different levels going positive, and there was also 5 different levels going negative. Now, level 0 was just your trainee, which would be your neutral. Your level 1 would be hopeful, level 2 would be optimistic, level 3 would be radiant, level 4 would be majestic, and level 5 would be ascendant. Now, of course, going backwards, you would have negative, so negative 1 would have been wretched, negative 2 would have been sullen, negative 3 would have been abandoned, negative 4 would have been desolate, and of course -5, which would have been Forsaken. So being in negative would have made everything 0.5 times more expensive on top of everything else, so of course it would eventually stack to be a lot worse. So of course you didn't want to be negative unless you wanted the cool title, and of course you wanted to be positive if you just wanted to be the cool title as well. So either way, you had something good to go for. Now that is pretty much the only thing that I had planned for this this update in this map, but of course we didn't get the other ones done, but each update actually had more things. But before we go into the next part of the update, let's show you around the map, because I think this map is probably one of my favorite that I actually helped, well, sort of get a vision on. So of course, when we come over here to take a look at these brand new tables, as you can see, they are a lot more detailed as opposed to what we are used to on Arm Wrestle Simulator. Now of course, ignore these NPCs, these guys are just placeholders for what was actually supposed to be in the game. Now I do admit that this area and the placement of these are actually extremely wrong and probably would not have made sense, especially for the progression. However, as you can see, they still look pretty cool. Then of course over here you had your two leaderboards. Now one would have been for your wins in here and one would have been for your coins. So of course these were going to be great, and they would also have rewards on them as well. And then over here we had the eggs. Now the eggs weren't actually designed by the same people, however these eggs now exist and are actually in the game, as well as the pets, which you guys can actually find located in the Roman Empire world. So if you guys want to see them, you can go and check that out as well, because you will be able to get yourself a first look on what this area would have looked like, especially if you put the egg side by side. And then of course, moving on from the eggs, we had the training methods, which of course were no different from the main game, especially since we weren't really experimenting with them at the time. So of course you had your punching bags. Now I think these look absolutely cool, especially with these ones being, well, pretty unique. So of course, if I go into the free cam mode, you guys can get a better look at what these actually look like. I really think these look cool, especially the VIP one. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you like this style? Should we do some like it in the future? Or what? Just let me know and I will have a chat with Tensorized. But of course, that is the punching bags. There was nothing different with these. It was just a model change, but of course, there is that to take into account. And then of course, over here, you have your grips, which I personally think look pretty cool. However, I don't think they actually suited the style of Arm Wrestle Simulator. And then of course, moving over to this part, we have the barbells and the dumbbells, which I really think, well, to say the least, I think they look pretty plain and definitely don't suit the game. So I kind of understand why they definitely wouldn't have wanted to use these, because the style isn't as colourful and as bright as our old events or our current ones as well. But those over there is pretty much all of our training methods that we actually had in the game. There wasn't anything unique. However, I did want it so people would have to, like, I don't know, like punch a wall or like break some boards on a desk or something for your strength. However, that never actually got approved. But I think that would have been a cool training method, especially for your knuckles. Who knows? However, moving on to look on the outside of the map, you can't lie and tell me that this doesn't look cool, because I think this is probably the coolest looking map ever to have been on Arm Wrestle Simulator. But once again, it just didn't suit the style, so of course we definitely couldn't have kept it. But going into free cam, as you can see, these are the statues, and they had like this little like reflection which was inside of the map, but just to show you the underneath, just to spoil the illusion, that's essentially all it was. But I do think these look absolutely epic, and I really wish we could have used this map, because it would have been one of the coolest ones we ever released. Anyway, for the second update, we were actually going to be calling the map the Capua Village, which honestly still never got done to this day. However, the outlining for it was pretty cool. Now, this zone had only 5 eggs inside of it. Now, of course, it's a lot more than what we have in the events these days, especially for just one map. However, I do believe it would have looked even cooler, especially with the new style that we do these days. Which of course is a huge thank you to Tensorized, which of course he was only just joining the team at the time, but I feel like his style of that would have fit in on here at this time. Now, inside of the Capua Village, there was going to be 15 findable objects that you could find around the map, which would help create basically this side of, I guess, player engagement in general, which would make it so you would collect these sort of like fragments and make a statue. So it'd essentially be like that guy up there. You'd basically collect parts of him around the map, and you'd build him just for yourself. Now, having that there would have reduced the prices of certain things in the merchants, and it would have made it a lot better for you to actually have them. Now, I think that would have been really cool. It would have been a nice sort of design, and I hope we can actually incorporate that at some point in the future, because I really do think that would have been an awesome feature. Anyway, moving on, we had another feature which was actually called the Village Quests, which would be granted from a NPC called the Wise Man. Now, these quests were able to be repeated, and some of them weren't. However, players could accept 5 of these quests per hour, which would make it so their progress would have to be done by completing them, talking to the Wise Man, and then moving on and doing it all over again. Now, of course, if you got a quest that obviously you didn't want to do and you didn't like it, you would have actually lost honor, which would have made it so obviously you had a chance of losing some and obviously a chance of gaining some. I think that would have equalized out the honor system and balanced it a little bit, and I think that system was pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think of that as well down below. Do you guys like the idea of it? Should we incorporate it maybe into a future event? Let me know, and we'll definitely talk about it with the developers. Now, of course, at the time of this being there was a popular sort of theme in Arm Wrestle Simulator, which was the breakables. So, of course, we had the Christmas ones, which were the gingerbread and the snowmen. And, of course, we had the Halloween ones, which was the ghosts and the pumpkins. So, of course, we wanted them in here as well, which would obviously have health. And there was so many different breakables that we were actually planning on putting in. So there was ones for house objects, so that would be a table, a chair, bookshelf, bed, countertops, so much. And then there was so many around the map as well. So there was like barrels, crates, cages, you name it. So there was so many different things that you could break just to get things out of. Now, with that being said, I think that would have been a really cool update, as I put it myself, especially since I'm the one that designed it. Maybe I'm just biased on that choice, but I think that would have been really, really cool. So it's a shame that it actually never did release. However, I know if we get enough comments down below about how much you guys like the look of this event, maybe we can do something like this in the future. So go ahead and do that. Show Tensorize that you guys would like to see something like this in the future, and of course he may consider it. Now, of course, moving on to update part 3, this one was going to be called the Capua Market, aka the outer ring of the Colosseum. Now, with that being said, that should show you a nice little bit of something that we had planned. However, again, no map was designed for this because we stopped at this update right here. So, of course, with this now being the market area, this, of course, was going to be where your merchants were. So, yes, you would have had to have waited 3 weeks at the time just to be able to have got to this. However, there was going to be several different merchants in the market that would either restock or refresh or just sort of rotate at the time to become different types of merchants. So we had a consumable merchant, a UGC merchant, we also had a limited time merchant, and a pets merchant. Now, on the screen right now, you guys will see the UGC ideas that we actually had. Now, we actually didn't know what they were going to do or if they gave you any buffs. However, you would have been able to have purchased them for a certain amount of coins, or alternatively, I think it would have been done by finishing a quest. So, of course, by completing the quest, that's when you would have been able to have purchased it, which makes it so it was a grindy feature to go for. Now, if you guys don't actually know, to actually release a UGC item that was limited stock, like we have in the past, it actually used to cost a lot of Robux. Now, for example, the 90 antlers that we released actually costed us way over 1 million Robux, and that on its own is pretty insane, especially on the cost of the rates that you would have to pay. So if you think about that in, well, perspective for how much on the stocks these were, this update was going to cost a lot of money. And then, of course, to top it all off, there was going to be 2 more features, which was going to be the Wizard's Enchanting, which would have allowed you to enchant your pets in a completely brand new unique way that isn't actually in the game and wouldn't have been in the main game either, which would have just given you guys limited time event stuff, so that would have been cool. And then on top of that, there would have been 3 different sculptures that you guys could obviously build, which would also give you guys some percentage on passive boosts. So of course, that's update 3. I think that update would have been pretty cool. Now, let's get into update 4, and let's see if you guys like this one as well. So, as I said, as explaining the last update, this world was actually going to be the Colosseum. Now, we called this the Colosseum Dungeons, because we wanted to make it so there was basically a dungeon before going into the main area. Now, this update would have been week 4 out of all of the updates, so of course this one wasn't going to be massive, it was just going to be pretty simple. So there was a feature that I actually had designed, which was going to be dungeon fights, which would have allowed you to have gone inside a PvP arena to fight other players, essentially like leagues, but it would have been a little bit different, and would have required players to actually be inside of your server. Now, I think that would have been pretty cool, but the logistics on that pretty much were wrong, and definitely wouldn't have worked, especially with the way that we actually have the game. And the next thing would have been the Dungeon Obby minigame, which would have just been an obby course, which would have given you guys some stuff, as well as a title, and all sorts of other goodies. However, that is pretty much it for update 4, and the next update was going to be the actual Colosseum itself. Now, of course, if you guys don't know what a Colosseum is, it basically is like this ginormous sort of arena where you'd have to fight different things and basically try to survive. So all it would take is pretty much everything that you've gained from basically update 1 all the way up till update 5, just to be able to beat what's in there, and it was going to be, well, should have been, or at least hopefully should have been, pretty balanced out to have made it so people were just about done with the updates and just about ready by time each update came out. Which makes update number 5 pretty much the best one out of all of them, because there was going to be a level and round-based sort of games that would have made it a lot more entertaining and a lot more fun to play. But again, of course, another idea that actually never got done, and of course it got scrapped. But yeah, that's basically everything on the update, guys. I'm a little bit tired, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of stuff. Now, if you guys would like to learn more about things in the future, especially stuff that didn't get updated or never got released, then I'm more than happy to do so. However, I would like to see you guys show me the support, and obviously the love that you guys like to see these types of videos. And of course, if you guys would like to see me play other games, let me know as well, especially since a lot of you are here for Arm Wrestle Simulator. It would be nice to know if you'd like to see other stuff as well. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it for me. I'm going to pass it over to the other Jay now, who's going to be in the garden and giving away a pet. So, thank you very much for coming and watching the updates on this sort of world. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you guys did like this map, because we definitely paid a lot of money for it to just not get used. So, with the majority of that video now being out the way, we are now here in the garden to give the pet that I promised to give away in the last video. And of course, that's going to be going to a lucky winner that has commented down below on the last video. Now, that lucky winner is actually going to be getting themselves a pet that is signed by me. Now, of course, if you guys want to go ahead and get yourself in on this giveaway as well, all you'll have to do is go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and turn notifications on if you haven't already. And obviously, comment down below your favorite part of this event that I've shown off, and let me know what you guys think about it. Now, of course, let's go ahead and dive into giving away this pet, because I think that's what you're all waiting for. Am I right? So, of course, the winner of this giveaway is going to be this guy right here, who is called Eslam T6. Congratulations, my friend. You've just earned yourself a Giga Neon Corrupt, which is signed by myself. Enjoy that, my buddy, and I appreciate your support on my videos. It really does mean a lot. But as I said, guys, definitely if you want to get yourselves involved, do what I asked, and of course, I appreciate all the support as per usual on my videos. Let me know as well if you guys are enjoying the long form content, and if you want to see more, especially in the time that I'm making them. It does take quite a lot of my time up. However, I'm entirely down to make more like this in the future if you guys are enjoying it as well. But guys, that's about all I've got time for. Once again, I appreciate you guys coming and stopping by, and I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.